Everyone, and welcome back to the Coaching Observer. Wow, it's been 3 weeks of the World Cup and it's been phenomenal. So the pools are kind of starting to be decided at the moment. We can definitely see that Ireland topping the pool after this weekend. I think England has topped their pool as well. We're looking at France topping their pool. And last, we'll be looking at Wales topping their pool. So the big things that are undecided at the moment are that second place. So who else is going to qualify to make the quarterfinal? It's quite up for grabs, and if some teams really don't step up, we're going to see some interesting guys coming into the quarterfinal and making history while they do it as well. So firstly, we all know Fiji. Fiji's up there. They're playing on Saturday. They're playing against Georgia. Georgia just came through a very strange draw against Portugal. So they obviously want to go for it, but Fiji will as well too break a record over there. Second on the log currently in another pool is Samoa. So Samoa is playing on Thursday against Japan. It's an interesting one. Japan is not up to scratch at the moment. I think if Samoa beat Japan, they are looking more and more in being able to qualify, but they still have another tough game ahead of them as well. It will be amazing to see two island teams within the quarterfinal. I don't know if they can get through that. South Africa needs to hope for Scotland not to beat Ireland by a bonus point, otherwise they'll secure their second. However, they do have a bit of a bruising match coming up against Tonga. We have some new players coming to the fold, or not new, just returning. We'll see how Andre Pollard does against some bone crunching from Malik Fekitoa and others as well. Now, something I want to cover is Italy and New Zealand. So if you currently look at the log, New Zealand have no room to be able to lose any matches. And if you look at Italy, they had two soft games, but I'd be feeling confident if I was Italy. I'm currently second on the log. That's the space up for grabs. And what a World Cup. This will be the upset of the World Cup. If Italy somehow managed to beat New Zealand and we don't see a New Zealand in the quarterfinals or at any playoffs, I mean, that would be almost unheard of. I don't think in the history it's ever happened. So it's something I'm going to try to break down, and let's see what can Italy really do to be able to attack or defend New Zealand to give them the best chance. So today I'll be breaking down the New Zealand and the Italy attack and defense, looking at some key positions as well, talking a bit about the set pieces, and then giving my prediction at the end. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's dive in. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I'll spend some time here, is how must Italy attack or defend to give them the best possible scenario to be able to beat New Zealand. Now, personally, I would love this upset, not to see New Zealand in the playoffs. And how can Italy really do this? So when I'm talking about defense, guys, now, can their fitness keep it up? I need a extreme hard, fast and aggressive defensive line speed, meaning that I need almost all players at all times to always be closing down space onto the New Zealand attack. If you ever watch New Zealand lose a rugby game, they do not enjoy playing off the back foot. They really don't. If we think back about the South African game where they, gave New Zealand a bit of a hiding, that extreme line speed and then dominant tackles with the ball going backwards and then constantly losing ground, this really plays with their mindset and they cannot come back from that. So the first thing Italy really needs to do is extreme line speed, create that pressure, create those huge tackles and make sure that the momentum is always being stopped, and if so, that they are constantly losing ground, going backwards and backwards. So that's the first thing I want Italy to do. Secondly, with this huge line speed, they need to have contingency plans. Now, New Zealand is extremely adaptive. Let's say this huge line speed comes, it opens up different space. Now, I want Italy to always be aware of two main issues for me with regards to that space that they're creating. Firstly, with a huge line speed coming up, there's that small area just behind the back line that opens up for small stab kicks as well as grubbers, and New Zealand loves that. Damian McKenzie will definitely do that, right? And now we'll definitely see a back trio who's able to capitalize on that as well. So that's the first thing I want them to look out for. Secondly, my wing from Italy, or both my wings, need to be pushing up on that defensive line as well to make sure I'm closing down space. Now, something that New Zealand will do, and I want them to have a contingency plan for this as well, is the skip pass will come through to the wing or to that outside center. So they don't mind that pressure. I've seen too often Barrett or even Will Jordan at centers, anything, they don't mind. They'll just skip that pass. Now, can they read that defensively and can they stop that coming to the wing? And once it gets to that wing or to kick chase behind that line, What are they going to do to be able to really mitigate that? I know I've said it before. I enjoy a secondary line of defense in my 8 or my 9. Maybe they come up with something different. I hope they can, and they really need to address that. Something else Italy needs to do on defense, and this will probably win them the game, is they need to contest 80% of the rucks, 80% or more. They need to make sure that they are slowing down the ball at every single moment that they can, whether it's at the ruck time, whether it's rolling away a little bit slower, whether it's playing those grey areas, because New Zealand thrives off quick ruck ball where they can just attack where they please. And what does that mean? Italy is always going to be running. And like I said, I don't know if their conditioning will be able to maintain that high impact, high speed that New Zealand want to play, especially with kicking. So can they contest 80% of rucks legally without gaining any penalties against them? And are they able just to slow down the ball? Now, this brings me straight into their attack. Guys, I've said it previously, I know New Zealand is going to kick. Now, what I don't want to see from Italy is return kick, and I don't think it's going to be tennis. What I want to see from Italy is retention of ball. The more they can retain the ball and not give the ball to New Zealand, the more they can build up phases. That's the way I want them to play. Is it going to be a beautiful brand of rugby? Probably not. Is it going to be effective? If they can do it, yes. Why? Because if they can build up phases, right, and they create that pressure, New Zealand is going to start digging for gold. And what they're going to do is they'll start contesting rucks. Now, extremely important, Italy need to make sure that they protect their rucks, right? That there's no lazy guys around ruck time. Seal, make sure we clean, make sure that we don't allow New Zealand into that space. As soon as they do it, New Zealand want the ball, maybe there's a few penalties, and this is how Italy will win the game. Scoreboard pressure. They have good kickers, right? I mean, we all know footballers are good kickers in general. And if you look at some of the countries with some of the best kickers at the moment, they are great footballers as well. So I want them to be able to build phases, frustrate New Zealand, create a penalty, and just kick. Just poles. Guys, I'm telling you, Italy can win this game without scoring a single try, because massive teams, they break down under pressure. And this pressure must be built on the scoreboard. If you just are always staying within 3 points or 2 points or 5 points of these big teams, it's going to get to them. So the way I want Italy to attack is ball retention, build phases, and now a key thing for me in the selection of New Zealand lineup, it depends what they want to do at wing. If they go with Caleb Clark on the one end and Talia on the other, like I said earlier, these guys aren't the greatest on defense. They are great runners with the ball. I mean, Caleb Clark hurts when he runs, right? Talia, good feet. He loves kicking. He loves backing his pace. He's good. But defensively, I don't think these are the guys I'd select defensively. So what I want Italy to do is to continuously hit back into the blind side. The blind side is the side closest to the outside line. So if a ruck is formed over here, the outline is over here, this would be the blind side. All right. I want them to continuously attack there and put pressure on those wingers. And I'm sure something will come from that. I don't want them to attack onto that huge open side, allowing New Zealand to, really rush defense and then to get their hands onto the ball into the ruck. I just want them to be slow, process, phase after phase, and just build off of that and see if they can really do that. If they can maintain anywhere between a 70 to 80% possession out of the whole game, I'm pretty sure they're going to win. These are the type of things I want Italy to consider, how they should be attacking, how they should be defending, and what probably gives them the best chance to beat a team like New Zealand. So if you have any thoughts on that, please guys throw in the comment section. I'm really interested to hear what you want to say. It's a difficult game to analyze because New Zealand are so formidable. They really need to do everything that they can. Italy can play well when they want to and when they need to, but is this pressure of a World Cup going to really come raining down on them? The next thing I want to dive into is the New Zealand attack and defense. So I think they are quite similar in nature for this match. And I think that the way they're going to attack and the way they're going to defend is both of territorial space and kicking. I think we're going to see quite a big kicking game from New Zealand. They are going to try kick into the right territories of the game to try turn Italy and just use that territory gain, right? So gain by making sure they're creating more meters or gaining more meters on the other team on a kick, because they don't mind defending that. And what they're going to start looking at immediately after they kick into space is this new huge rule that's come in of 50-22, getting an immediate line out within within the opposing 22, and they want to immediately launch from that line on over there. I think they're going to be looking for this a lot. Secondly, I don't think Italy should be kicking it back. So when New Zealand kicks for space, something they're going to look for is to blast that ruck, to really try and create pressure at that ruck, to either get a quick turnover. What they do with quick turnover is they're going to use their very sleek hands, right? It's offloads, it's pop, or to get it to the wing, anything like this. Quick turnover ball from a high contested ball as well, and to try score off of that. I think that's how they're going to attack. That comes into defense as well. I think that they want to force Italy to kick, but I don't think that it's going to happen. I'm hoping Italy keeps ball in hand. So with regards to the defense of New Zealand, most of the time, the way they'll be defending again is a territory gain. So their best defense in this scenario is attack, in my opinion. I think that they should keep kicking for space. Not only that, it should be contested balls as well. And what I also enjoy seeing is those small little stab kicks that are coming through. The way that New Zealand want to attack this game is just more a quick turnover and broken play. They love forcing broken play. Once broken play happens, they have a lot of runners onto the ball. They keep the ball alive, and they're able to gain massive meters until the line is broken, and they generally finish on that as well. All right, so in summary again, I definitely think that New Zealand's defense and attack will come together. I think that it's both a kicking strategy, it's high balls, contested balls, playing the territorial game, right? And then just seeing what kind of mistakes they can force to get a turnover, and then to use their quick, sleek hands to get into space and to score easy tries off the mistakes off of Italy. So my favorite time, key positions within this matchup. Now I'm going somewhere where I haven't been before in any of my previous videos, props. So a key position for me in this matchup is props. On the side of Italy, we have Fischetti and Ricconi. These guys have been, very strong scrummagers, but they enjoy carrying the ball as well. Something I want them to add an element into is, they have to assist their team on defense and making sure that the mismatches don't occur too much. If you take Damian McKenzie against Ricconi or Fischetti, Damian McKenzie is probably going to get around them. How much effort can they put in to make sure that those mismatches really don't occur often, and that if they do, they can really make up with their man? Right now, on the other side of this key position on New Zealand, De Groot is unfortunately out for this match. I think they've come down and down and down with regards to his sanction or his ban. I think he went from 3 games or something. Now he's only got 1, so he's only missing this Italian game. So who comes in that position? Taunga Fassi and Laulala. These should be the 2 props that I do see from New Zealand, and I want to see the same from them. Now, traditionally, the New Zealand props also have very sleek hands, and they don't make so many handling errors as props have in the past. I want to see this huge matchup at scrum time. I want to see these big boys carrying a lot of ball. I want them to get over those gain lines. I want to see them take advantage. I want to see them running multiple 45 angle degree lines, and I want them to up their work rate. I don't think that Italy's bench with regards to props is as strong as their starters, so that impact must really be made within that first 50 to 60 minutes as strong as it can be. Now New Zealand's a little bit more across the board. Their bench can come up and they kind of bring the same element, but none of their props to me are one of those like magnificent game-changing props. I do think that what they do really well with regards to scrummaging, lifting at lineouts, carrying ball and everything. But I feel that if Italy can just get, a little bit further ahead of them with regards to these things and, play those mind games, it's going to give them a good positive lead up for the whole game. And that's what I want to see. Traditionally, also the props, they are the go-to guys. What I want to see with these props, and we've seen it in some of the other games, is line breaks. What do they do after a line break? I think we saw the Welsh number 1 have a huge line break, 20 meters, and then a beautiful pass to his number 9 who scored a try. Are the Italian forwards and their props able to do these things as well? Not only do what's required of you, can they go above and beyond and really be able to put their team where they need to be with regards to their hands, with regards to their rugby IQ and all of this. The second key matchup I want to talk to you guys about is fullback. Now, I hope that New Zealand really brings in Damian McKenzie. If they don't, it's probably Beauden Barrett, both very deadly. Okay, on the side of Italy, the matchup is Capuzzo. The youngster, I think his name's Angie Capuzzo, youngster, age of 26, very dynamic in the way he attacks, a little less seasoned, a little less experienced than our counterparts on New Zealand. Now, the important part of this to me is the way they attack and the way they defend. Now, like I said, New Zealand is going to put a lot of high balls, a lot of contested balls, a lot of territory kicks. Can Capuzzo really take his time? Can he, be solid underneath that high ball and make sure that no mistakes are made at the back or no advantages are gained for New Zealand at the back, so that he can give his team confidence and make sure that they can always move forward from that. What I also said is I hope that he doesn't return kick. He is a good kicker. However, I want him to run at that line. I want him to know that he's going to attack them. If he wants to do a chip and chase off that, I don't mind. I don't want to see the tennis game. I want him to be confident. I want him to back himself like he usually does. And I want to see how he attacks using that. Okay, but also speaking to his wings on strings, making sure that all the space at the back is covered, especially on that hard defensive line. How is he going to mitigate that, or how is he going to think about those risks that are going to come from that hard line of defense? On the side of Damian McKenzie, guys, I love his brand of rugby. I think it's quick, I think it's innovative, and he's slippery. He can kick very well. I hope that he doesn't. I hope he's going to run at the line. He does go quite lateral to find space, but to find space he generally does. He can also, really be a good support line runner. What I do see is he has made guys second guess enough, and then, the support just comes and he offloads, and it's usually a try off of that. What is Italy going to do to, really keep David McKenzie in a box? I feel that New Zealand, as well as Chiefs, if Damian McKenzie has one of those solid games and he has freedom to do what he does, it builds this huge momentum for whatever team he plays for. Can Italy break that down? If Damian doesn't have a good game, they're going to need to look somewhere else. And I got a feeling that as soon as Damian, doesn't get that go forward and provides that energy for his team, it's going to play into the, advantage of Italy, of that slower game that I want, of that ball management, territory management, possession management that I want to see from Italy. That's what I'm hoping. I think it's a very good matchup. I think it's a make or break on both sides with regards to their kicking, with regards to their defense, and it should be an interesting matchup. I feel like I missed it. Next up, I want to cover team selection. So I do think that New Zealand are going to respect the formidable Italy, and they're going to put out a strong side. Is it going to be their strongest side? I do think we'll see a few players starting and different guys coming off of the bench compared to what we used to, especially compared to the France game and whatnot. So I'll be speaking about these small elements. Italy, obviously, this is make or break for them. They're going to put out as strong as possible. I'm hoping to see a few shifts in a few of the positions, and I'll speak about that as well. I think the New Zealand selection staff are going to play around with different combinations. If we look at 4 or 5, if we look at 9 and 10, and then for me, the back trio, these combinations are something that they can experiment with a bit, and they do really have a lot of depth in these positions. So I think, the Barrett brothers, Scott Barrett will definitely start within the one lock, and I think that they'll put Retallick with him. I think we're going to rest Sam Whitelock a bit. He'll probably come off the bench. We'll see with regards to that. And then I also want to look at the back three. So I think Caleb Clark might get a start, as well as I want to see Damian McKenzie at 15. And then on the other wing, I want to see Talia. He's just a try-scoring machine. And I think that this is quite a strong back three, quite innovative. They are fast. They're wanting to attack different spaces. And McKenzie just brings this really good energy to the rugby for me. At 9s and 10s, I don't think Aaron Smith will start at 9. I think we're going to see Finley Christie starting at 9. And Aaron Smith will probably get the back end of the 20 to 25 minutes. Now at 10, do they go with Richie Mo'unga? Do they go with Beauden Barrett? What are their options over there? I don't think, like I just said, McKenzie will probably be 15. So I want to see Richie onto the bench, and I kind of want to see what element is Beauden Barrett going to bring that's different to Richie Mo'unga, especially against Italy. And as we know that all their boots are extremely educated. So if you look at Beauden Barrett, look at Richie Mo'unga, look at Damian McKenzie, their boots do exactly what they want to. And I think that this is telling you guys a little bit of how I think they're going to attack. Positions on Italy's side, guys, I think that their two props are probably going to be the most important. If we're looking at Fischetti or Ricconi, this is where it is for me. I want to see these two players really coming into their own in carrying, in assisting on tackles. And guys, the biggest clash for me is, can they really hold themselves with regards to their scrums? Another player I really want to chat to you guys about, and he usually comes off the bench, but I hope he gets a start, is the flying wing of Godowu. Guys, have you seen him play? Excessive speed, extremely strong and physical, and I really hope that they bring him on, because these are the type of elements that they need, especially on wings that maybe don't want to defend as much, and they can just kind of twist them onto that element as well. Another strong suit for me is definitely Capuzzo, which is the 15 of Italy, and guys, he is extremely talented. We saw him break hearts at the 1-6 Nations 2 years ago against Wales, taking that game. It's someone who I think that can be the game changer, can be the X factor for the Italian squad, and I hope that they do bring him in. And I really do hope that he has an exquisite game, and that he has really been able to deal with the pressure that will be put on him, because New Zealand will be kicking on him as much as they possibly can. Something I just want to touch on is set pieces. So we've seen on the closest games, set pieces mean the most. South Africa, Ireland, deadlock at scrum time. Lineouts, the Irish lineout went terribly in the first 5 minutes, started catching up around. But these are some of the platforms that really make or break the game. So if we're looking at Italy, I did say that their props are going to be vital for me this game. And that vitality really comes into play with regards to scrum time. I need them to really be strong, not concede any penalties, and if possible, actually gain some penalty advantage at scrum time. If this is able to be a set launch for Italy on however they want to launch, scrums are going to be one of the most important parts of the game. Secondly, lineouts. So the New Zealand lineout is very strong, very quick, very good off the top, very good hands, right? But we can see it has been dismantled before. Mario Itoje in the 2019 World Cup single-handedly destroyed the New Zealand lineout. So if Italy can gain any, tape, and they're just watching hours and hours of, what are the small telltales at lineouts for their key jumpers to go up, all they need to do is disrupt. Something I want Italy to do, even in their own 5 meter space, in their own 22, I want them to contest every single lineout. Because if you contest a lineout and you just make the jumper second guess, or the hooker second guess his throw, or anything, it's 50-50 in that air after a while, right? So I want some, at lineout time, Italy has to contest every single lineout. If they do this, I think they stand a good chance at lineout time. I hope that they can, just do a quick front ball in their own lineouts, get it out, because, like I said, New Zealand jumpers are pretty good on where they need to do. I also want them to watch out for small little practice plays that they've done at practice. So these are these small little launches that we've seen from various teams, where they're trying something a little trickier on the lineouts. I think both teams can do it. And I think this is also where we can catch New Zealand off guard if Italy come up with something smart. We also know that both teams are going to want to maul. How do they defend these mauls? That's going to be a big one. I think the maul situation across most of the games at the moment has been very messy. I haven't seen mauls like what we used to see in 2019 and 2015. I do feel that some of the law changes with regards to the two pillars or the two lifters and how they're allowed to change, or how they want the ball to change, or changing lanes. There's a lot of changes around the maul that's really impacted the effectiveness of the maul actually. So let's see what the two teams are going to do to be able to mitigate or to utilize those type of things at set pieces. It's time now for the prediction. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've been a little bit biased throughout this video, hoping to give Italy any advantage that they can have to beat New Zealand. I would love an upset. I would love this specific upset as well. No New Zealand. And, letting Italy, and Italy's had so much... a lot of backlash at them with regards to being the weakest Six Nations team, almost never winning when they do Six Nations. I hope that this can be their turnaround. They do have a young squad. I think it's good. However, I have to say my prediction will probably still be New Zealand. I think that the point margin hopefully is not too big. It's about 18. I hope that Italy gets quite a few points on the board. I'm looking at a 38-20, if that much points. If not, we're looking at about a 28-10. So margin of 18, New Zealand to win, although I'm praying and I'm backing for Italy to do something phenomenal. Yeah, I think that's my prediction. Guys, please post your predictions on the comments over there. Let's get interactive about it. Tell me what is your prediction, why that's your prediction, and let's see who wins that margin point. Thank you so much for joining me and going through my analysis video over here from Italy against New Zealand coming up on Friday. I hope that you enjoyed my content. I hope that it's been enlightening. It has been a bit of a tough one for me, not knowing the complete brand that Italy brings, although I do know New Zealand very well. I do want to urge just to, young and emerging coaches over there, if you guys have any questions, if there's key terms, if you need assistance or help with anything, please don't be shy. Jump into the comments section over there. Try and message me. I think my email is available on the channel as well. I really want this to become an interactive platform for young coaches, young emerging coaches. Even, if you're older and you want to get some strategies coming around or across, I'm here at your disposal. I want to help you. So please, let's get nice and interactive on that. Guys, again, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. The channel's growing phenomenally and I can't do it without you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the match and enjoy the World Cup. Cheers, guys.